Hello there, and welcome into this astrology energy video where I will be speaking to the collective energy that so many of us are feeling. This beginning of February is when I'm filming this, but honestly this started in January 2025. But right now we have this heightened collective fear, anxiety, and overwhelm. And I want to speak to that and really help ground some of you who might be feeling very overwhelmed right now, very anxious, and maybe even in deep, fearful places. So I want to speak to this, as well as the bigger intention for this video is actually about 2025 as a whole. And so I will be looking at this from an evolutionary astrology standpoint. And this is very soul level astrology. We go very deep, as well as looking at these larger collective timelines that we are in, and to help you understand why our world, why we are having the experiences that we're having. And as you come into that understanding of why, that allows you to better navigate and surf these very powerful waves of change that are coming in. So if that sounds exciting to you, please, tune in and watch this video. If you find that it might be helpful to other people that you know, please share this. So the more I have people liking and subscribing and sharing, that's helping me to break out of that algorithm and actually connect with people who don't want just the fear, but people who are also looking for hope. And again, that navigating through these very polarizing, dualistic times. So if that sounds good to you, I am so grateful to you for being here. And if you are new, my name is Chrissy Whistler. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Again, deep soul level astrology is taught by Jeff Green. We don't do any of the surface level stuff here. We go very, very deep. I'm also an energy practitioner. And probably more important than any of that is that I'm a mother of two very unique, multi-dimensional children who came into my life, tapped me on the shoulder, and actually reminded my soul of who I really am. So they've been my guiding light and my teachers back to me. Now, if you would like some support, if you want to know your astrology, why you're having these particular experiences, please go to my website, chrissywhistler.com. You can have a reading with me, an intuitive reading, energy session. It's all there. I have a newfangled system for booking and scheduling, so this is what I've been putting my energy into while I've been moving through my own sickness and, not quite healthy, not quite not, it's that Mars retrograde energy. That's what I've been slowly doing. So go there. It'll make your process to connect with me that much easier. So that said, we have a lot to cover. As usual, I do have my notes. And the energy these past 2 weeks have really crystallized, but it definitely started, at least for us here in Los Angeles, even earlier with the fires. So I think what I'm going to first speak to is what I am feeling with this message. And my intention bringing all this astrology through, bringing in the energies that I am tapping into as an intuitive to help provide for you that guiding light, that hope in what may feel like a very dark time, and to remember that you are the light. Each one of us is that light. And it is a very, very bright light that we have been taught and conditioned to not believe in and to play very small, to keep ourselves small, to keep ourselves dimmed. All right, so I have to look at the calendars. I'm going to tell you what day it is, and I don't know what day it is. Time is getting very, very dissolving. This dissolution of time is very strong right now. If you're feeling that, please let me know. I'm not alone. All right, today is Tuesday, January 4th is when I'm filming this. Right. And coming into this weekend, the fear in the collective has been compounding. It's just intensifying. I'm trying to word this in the right way. I'm just tuning in for a moment. There's a lot of actions that Donald Trump has taken as president since he's come into office again that is causing deep pain, deep hurt, and deep trauma. And I'm not trying to be political with this. I very much understand that one side is not all right, one side is not all wrong and good and bad. Like, I'm really sitting with this from a very different perspective. I'm tuning in with my heart, not my head, not my fears, my heart. And when I'm in that space of love, of compassion, caring, curiosity, when I'm in that space, and whether it's Donald Trump or Biden or whatever political leader, whatever act, experience, I'm really try to be in that space, and then see from that eyes, from the lens of my heart, to be that guide. So there's been a lot of actions that have been done, are continuing to be done, that are not loving. It's causing deep pain, and people are really feeling that. And this particular weekend, it's really compounded. And today we actually have Jupiter stationing direct in Gemini. So a lot of information and overwhelm. Gemini is the mind. It's very speedy, fast paced. It's here and here and here and here and here. It's like it's bouncing, connecting all these dots. It's not grounded, okay? And Jupiter expands that energy. So all of a sudden, we're going to be having a lot of truth coming to light, okay? So I'm not surprised that all this stuff is happening. Like, it's so clear, this is what I'm going to do, and then they go and do the thing, okay? So my intention, and what I was really feeling drawn to come into this video first, is to address the fear. and again, to help ground with hope and light, despite all the, oh my gosh, look at this, and look at this, and he's doing this, like, right? This mental overwhelm, this fear overwhelm in our minds, to bring it right back here and to hold center and to anchor into the heart and into love. My friend, very, very dear friend, sister, Katie, she shared with me that as I was kind of letting her know what was going on this weekend, and I was having a very difficult time holding that heart space too. At one point I was on Facebook, and what I read, I just had to stop. I stopped and I had to put my hand on my heart and just breathe as I was witnessing what these people are experiencing and going through with their jobs. And oh my goodness, I just had to hold that space. And then I had to turn off Facebook. I was like, I can't be in any more of that energy today. I have to stay in my heart space and grounded and not get lost in mentality and fears. So I was sharing that with Katie, and she shared back that a friend of hers is going to be coming back to the States for the first time in years, and she's absolutely terrified and afraid. And she wanted to know what me, the astrologer friend, had to say about all this. So instead of just responding directly to Katie and this friend, I'm responding here so all of you may also benefit from this information and this understanding of what's going on, why these events are playing out, so you can move with that energy, and so you can hold in your heart and that hope and that deep knowing that this is a very difficult, a very transformational time, but it is absolutely for this greater divine plan, this benefit for all of humanity that we can't see yet. There is no proof in front of us right now. What we're seeing is this dismantling of so many of our securities and our structures. And I have to tell you that that is not going to stop anytime soon. This is a very revolutionary, groundbreaking period of time. This 2025, it is this liminal space. The old world is breaking down. This old world of Capricorn, these structures, how our governments are structures, educational systems, medical systems, our financial systems are getting this radical shaking up, or it's the shaking out all the dead leaves. And it's like they're having to crumble, they're having to come down. We're about to be planting a brand new fucking amazing tree, okay? We are doing it, but it's like we still have the old tree first, and it's really gnarled, and it's kind of sick, and the roots are dead down there. It's like we got to pull that whole thing up. This new thing is going to be amazing, but wow, it's really going to suck. I mean, it doesn't have to suck. I imagine for some parts, for some of us, it's really going to be very uncomfortable. And for some, this is going to be very traumatic in some ways. You know, each of us are having very unique experiences depending on what our souls wanted to experience in order to evolve, in order to grow. Why you might live in the United States, for example. There is this soul karma, this soul contract that you have here in this country, as opposed to Palestine or Israel or Ukraine and Russia, right? We're each having these different experiences. being guided by this higher divine plan, our higher soul plan. And this is the kind of stuff that we talk about in evolutionary astrology. So if you want to know what yours is, definitely reach out. So, okay. We are being called into compassion this year and caring. This is going to be, I'm going to start to bring in some of the astrology as well. This is the North Node moving into Pisces.
You have 5 years from now at 2020s.
Okay. 5 years from now?
No.
That's Eric. He's just joined us and just put into the field 5 years from now, which will be 2030, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you guys, and not even 5 years. He's giving us some information about 5 years, but we're really looking at a period into 2027. Eric says 2030. Of this great change.
Is the wolves going to be different?
Yes, it will be. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait, how did the wolf be different? Oh, wait.
Well, that's what we're going to have to experience, because we don't know. We have glimmers of how the world would be different. But that's what it means to go into the future, is no one knows. And that's pretty scary, to go into the unknown.
No.
Into uncertainty, because humans really like certainty. And that is not the experience that we will be having starting 2025, okay? Taking us to the door of this new revolutionary lifting off period of time. So it's like we're in that liminal space. We're 1 foot in the old world, kind of getting into this new one, but it's not there yet because we're still having to clean up that old tree. So, all right, let me start to bring in, okay, I mentioned North Node has just moved into Pisces. That happened mid-January. Another big theme is going to be about Cancer, which is this emotional wisdom, emotional intelligence, feeling safe and secure at that level.
Dixit? Why is there a Dixit?
Dixit is one of my favorite board games.
Well, so why is there a Disney edition?
Because I like Disney, and they're pretty pictures.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
Which is, he's just reminding me.
What does this even have? What do you have?
Just pictures around Disney art and different. So I'm filming this a little bit. I'm filming this in the afternoon.
For me.
I'd usually do this in the morning. Well, I ended up going to a birthday party, and it was interesting to be there, and I'm already channeling this information to share with you, and then it's like trying to also be in the real world and like having conversations with other moms and the kids, and the reminder to play was the message from the children, this laughter. And despite whatever is happening out there in the world, there is this need to come back to the present moment, come back into our hearts, and to reconnect to joy. So how can you still have that in your life despite everything that might be going on? All the fears and everything, you might be really angry, and yet can you still find moments to laugh, to smile, and to be in joy? So that's the message from the children. I'm going to try to come back to the astrology. We'll see how this goes. All right, so 2025 is a tremendously powerful in-between year. Who we are at the beginning of 2025 is not who we are going to be at the end of 2025.
First 25 years and then second. Oh my, I can't.
It's very interesting that he's wanting to be part of this message. So for us here in Los Angeles, we actually had that experience very powerfully, very viscerally. We just started January, and then we have the fires that just completely changed the dynamics and the landscapes of Los Angeles. And for some people, like their entire lives got changed. It, again, completely different. And where is this new going to be? So again, it's like this liminal space where we are breaking in this new ground, new territory, new ideas. We are sowing the seeds for the new beginnings that are going to be coming. We see this very strongly with the North Node now being in Pisces. And we have Saturn and Neptune are conjunct that North Node right now. Very powerful signature. And I'll keep bringing that in through. What is it?
Oh. Spiky. Spike balls eat you.
Oh, spike ball got me.
You had to get out of here somehow.
Okay.
You had to take it out.
All right.
Yeah.
I took out the spike ball.
Now you're bleeding for
Oh,
hours.
I'm bleeding now for an hour. Oh no. And we also see this with Uranus. Uranus is going to be leaving Taurus very briefly and moving into Gemini in July. So this is very fast period moving time. We're having a lot of action at the Aries point, which is 0 degrees of Aries. And guess what? That is death and rebirth, the alpha and the omega point, and it's going to be continually being activated. Again, this massive breaking down of the old, this culmination and this new beginning, but it's not there yet. Saturn and Neptune don't fully leave Pisces until 2026. So there's this back and forth, this cleaning up of this old story, sowing these seeds for this new future. So again, I hope that every scary thing that's happening out there, yes, it's happening out there. And it's also meant to. There is this greater divine plan at play, helping us as a collective to clear out, rip up those roots that are rotten, that are sick, that are just done. We're done with that old game. We're starting a whole new way of life, but we have to see what is down there deep in that earth first. This is part of what this whole process is teaching us and we're going through. We also have Pluto fully in Aquarius right now. But what does that actually mean for humanity and for our collective consciousness? We're going to start to get glimpses of that. But it's, again, extra fearful because we can feel that this change is coming in, but we don't know what it's going to be yet. And we as humans really don't like uncertainty and the unknown. So there's a lot of discomfort as we feel the new change, but we don't know what that is yet or what it will look like. Another big energy for 2025 is consciousness. We are having a rising of our consciousness, awakening. And that is going to be very, very strong. Very strong. Another theme is the freedom movement, also very linked with Aquarius and Uranus. And I'll be continuing to come back to this as well, but just know that this is freedom. This is a time of visionary leaders coming online and who we are growing into. Right, clearing that energy. So let me take a step back and just speak about 2024 as a whole. Now, 2024 is this very initiating, healing year that hit very strongly at the April 8th, total solar eclipse in Aries, where Chiron, the wounded healer, was conjunct. And that's at 19 degrees Aries. Chiron stationed direct end of December 2024 at that exact 19 degrees Aries point. So it's been a very deep healing year, especially for those of us who are the visionary leaders, who are the way showers, the way pavers, and the pioneers. We've had to go deep. Again, just like clearing out the roots of the tree that are rotten for all of society, we had to do that within ourselves. What are the unconscious beliefs that we've been holding on to, especially about initiating, that actually caring for ourselves, going our unique way and direction, our individuality? This could be healing around desires and sexuality as well. It will be unique and different to each one of you, and even at different points. Like, oh, I did this thing and worked on this healing, and then over here it's like, oh, wow, well, this theme is up. And that's been a lot. Having to go in, do the deep healing work to clear that out so we can step into being these protective, visionary leaders, this warrior, and yet also one who knows when to fight, when to defend, when to protect, and when to just sit and listen to the story of the other. That's that opposite of the polarity, which is Libra. So, you might have been really feeling that very deep healing journey that's initiating each of us onto our unique paths and callings, what your soul is calling you to, where your desires are leading you to. That's Aries. That is what the North Node moving through Aries has been teaching us. So here we are in 2025. Again, we've got our foot firmly planted, but it's also not go time yet, especially for this first half of the year. We're going to start to really feel energy and momentum picking up come late springtime, Northern Hemisphere, into summer. So we're talking May, June, we're feeling a shift of energy. You might start to feel that in April, depends how sensitive you are, but just kind of that April to June, definitely July, we're going to really start to feel things shift. Now, this is also a time of a profound rebirth. So as I spoke about Aries, North Node moving through Aries for the past 18 months has been ruled by Mars. Mars has been retrograde, first in Leo, then moved into Cancer. Oh, Mars in Cancer. I mean, I think it's like 8 months where Mars will have been in Cancer. So the fact that you may be feeling safe right now and emotionally secure, who are the right people who can see you and hold that emotional space for you? This is the story of Mars in Cancer. It's been a very deep, reflective period of time and really asking ourselves, who are our true family? who can actually hold me when I am feeling vulnerable and wounded. This Cancer theme, this need for emotional intelligence, emotional wisdom, such this missing medicine of our planet. And we are being asked and called to come into that, to come into this space of compassion, this caring. So it's like the energy of Mars hasn't completed yet. This energy of North Node in Aries isn't done. Mars is still in Cancer, still retrograde. We're also going to have an eclipse in Aries in March. So it's like, it's not done yet. The story isn't done. And I hope, yeah, I'll leave that there. I feel like there's more coming through, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Okay. We're also going to have Jupiter moving into Cancer in June for 1 year. So June 2025 to June 2026. Jupiter will be in Cancer. So then there's going to be this expanding where maybe we actually aren't held and seen by the right people. And then we see it. It becomes so clear that we have to see it. And then we get to make that choice. Here's where free will comes in. Am I going to still be in these relationships with people who can't be emotionally supportive to me when I'm vulnerable? And what can I do about that? Is it time to separate? Again, Mars, this individuality, the need to go your own way instead of playing the same codependent relationships and patterns that you might have done in the past. All right, so I'll leave that for now and let's start to move into this Aquarian energy. But yeah, I'll just add in as Mars stations direct, we'll have Venus going retrograde, Venus and Mercury at the same time. So it's like Mars retrograde is, you want to hit it's like your foot is on the gas pedal at the same time your other foot's on the brakes. So it's like you're stopping and you're starting, or maybe you're going in one direction and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to go here, or oh, I've got to go over here. So there's this need of, like, our life force doesn't even have that direct forward momentum yet because we're reviewing and we're reflecting. What is the direction I actually want to go in? So if this feels like a very quiet, hibernating first couple of months of 2025, it should be. And if you're feeling it, I highly, highly recommend that you honor it. Honor that feeling, honor that, to be a hermit, to go be a crab in your little shell and not come out, and give yourself that permission. It is okay if you just want to go take a bath or you want to go take a nap. This is a highly charged time. Again, there's going to be so much information coming at us. Part of this wisdom in Cancer is teaching us is to go take care of ourselves. Go do self-care. Allow yourself rest and nourishment and restoration rather than just getting on that hamster wheel and spinning it around that circle because you just got to get it all done. That's the distorted Capricorn energy that we're breaking out of. So be mindful of that in your life and what your inner child is telling you that they need, and how then can you honor it. And as you do, I think you're going to really start to find, come that springtime, April, especially that beginning of May, you'll probably find a lot of forward momentum if you've taken this time out to be reflective on your desires and what your life force is telling you the direction that it actually wants to go in. All right, so let's shift a little bit now into this Pluto Aquarius period and dynamics. Okay. Pluto is now fully in Aquarius. Pluto is an energy of transformation. It is the reactionary chamber. It can be very cataclysmic. Pluto is going down deep into the unconscious, the parts of our soul, that iceberg, what is beneath the water and we can't see. Pluto is going to bring that shit up. Okay? And this is what we're seeing in the world that's taking place, especially here in the United States. Let's see, what do I want to say about this? I am not surprised. Not at all surprised that we are seeing what's happening, especially, again, a very patriarchy systems and structures that are in place. There is a breaking down of them, but we have to see them first. And we have players right now on the chessboard, okay, the divine chessboard plan, and they're playing particular roles to help bring this up to the surface. And that's their job and their role for us. Even as it's also not comfortable, or it can be very scary. So try to see this from a higher vantage point than just the fears that you might be feeling in any given moment, to know that, okay, this might be really uncomfortable, and also seeing and knowing this is part of this plan. This is part of this dismantling process to get us to what's coming next, this rising up of consciousness. Aquarius has so much to do with humanitarianism. It's grassroots, it's community, not top-down authority. This is the people. Aquarius has so much to do with experimentation, being a pioneer, this forward thinker, future thinker. It's ruled by Uranus, and Uranus has got, little antennas up top. Uranus is tapping into the future. And like a lightning bolt, we're getting these insights and these innovations, these aha moments coming to us from the future. Because Aquarius is coming in to say, Aquarius comes in, looks at Capricorn, because we have the 10th sign of the zodiac, and then we have 11th, which is Aquarius. Aquarius goes and looks at Capricorn, looks at society, looks at all those man-made rules and structures, these conditionings, these expectations, and Aquarius goes, that's actually kind of shitty. We can do it better. Let's go against the grain. Let's experiment. Let's try something new, because it can be way better than that thing over there. That's this energy of Aquarius. Pluto is going to come in, like I said, it's breaking stuff down. This dismantling, this reactionary chamber of change, because Uranus, Aquarius, is coming in with that sword of truth. Let's do it better. Let's bring in something new, something different. Let's push the boundaries of our consciousness and rise from there. So, this is a very highly profound, revolutionary time that we will be in for decades. And I know so many people, when I speak to them and I tell them I'm an astrologer, the first question I'm asked is it going to get better? And I have such a hard time answering that question, because I can feel where they're coming from, and I know they're not going to want my answer. The answer is, if you think we're going back to the way things were, no, we are not. We are in the most profound period of time of our lifetimes. You will not experience a period of time like this ever again. One of the reasons it's a little bit hard to speak about this is because what this Aquarian energy is bringing in is so new and so different. It's like, I can't even give you conceptual examples because I'm just like, it's going to blow my mind of what actually comes through and happens. Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 2 decades. This energy will not be slowing down. It's starting 2025. 2025 is taking us to the doorway. As my teacher, Timothy Halloran, likes to say, taking us to the doorway of the rocket ship. But that rocket ship's not going to launch until 2026. So that's what I mean by this transitional time where we're not there and we're not there yet. We're in between and we're going back over. And we're going to really start to feel that rocket ship taking off into 2027. So we're going to start to get a glimpse of what this means in July when Uranus, who rules Uranus, who rules Aquarius, moves into Gemini, because Gemini is again another air sign, very fast, very speedy, technology driven, okay? We're going to start to get a sense of what this Pluto in Aquarius is later into the summer and be like, oh, okay, and we'll have a better pin or direction of what that energy is going to go and feel like. Okay, so let me just speak for a moment about this North Node in Pisces and what that means. Pisces is a very mystical energy because it is the last sign of the zodiac. You know, Aries is that birthing point, that new creation, this new initiation, and you go all the way around the 12 zodiacs, you come back to Pisces. And Pisces is all of the signs combined, and it is also different. It is the ending. Or you can think of it as each one of you are a single wave in the ocean, and Pisces is the ocean. It is the source of all that is. And so here we are, there's this creative reconnecting back into source, back into God and true goodness. What does that mean? What is our purpose for existing? These are some of these questions that we will be feeling as we have this next 18 months with this North Node. This evolutionary direction is to go into Pisces, to connect to true goodness, compassion. What is true compassion? And do you have it in your life? Do you hold that in your life? And right now, you probably don't have a lot of these answers because it's a new intention that has just begun. So if you are feeling a tremendous amount of uncertainty, this is also Pisces. Pisces, again, is this need to surrender into the flow of all that is. You might be feeling a very existential crisis right now, especially with Saturn in Pisces conjunct Neptune. This whole year they're doing this dance, and I won't go super into it because I already know this video is going to be long enough as it is. Saturn and Neptune are they'll be at the last degrees of Pisces, and they're going to be moving together. They're going to finally start to move into Aries. They're going to come within 10 minutes, I believe, of each other from being exact. So they get super close, this balsamic culmination, this conjunction, but not quite. They're going to retrograde and they're going to move back into Pisces. So there is this transitional, we're not done yet. That new beginning, that new seed is not ready to sprout just yet. So Saturn right now, Saturn is limitations. That's the energy it holds, or feeling lack. You might be feeling that in your life, and I know a lot of people are right now. They do not feel held and secure. You could be deeply seeking your purpose. You can be looking around at our collective humanity and going, oh my God, what is humanity? This is the best that we can do. And there's this just deep, again, existential crisis. What is this world that we find ourselves in? Are we really going back to the Dark Age? Are we really going back to this intense patriarchy where if you're not a man and you look white in a certain way, right? Like the things, then the rest of you are screwed and you're just second-class humans. So I'm just using these as examples, but like that is some of the questions that are coming through us right now. And it is not without purpose. This is what we are learning and remembering. There is this need to experience that void. This spiritual disillusionment is going to be very, very big, especially with structured religions. A lot of that, we're probably going to be feeling that, okay? You're more than likely not being filled with a lot of creative inspiration right now. Divine inspiration is probably not flowing through you. It's probably, again, you're feeling this lack. All right, let me see. There's something else that I wanted to share about that. Why are we experiencing that? That's the energy that I'm feeling from some of your questions. Why are we needing to feel this way? To look at our world and be like, why are we here? What is humanity? I don't think I actually want to be a human if this is how humans define each other, right? Again, it is that need to go within and realize what's those rotting roots, so we can actually bring back in true compassion for each other, even for people that you may vehemently disagree with, and yet can you still be in that space of love and compassion? You don't have to agree with them. You may find that you are one of those people who really needs to stand up right now, to be part of that revolutionary force that's bringing in change. That might be your calling, what you need to do. And yet at the same time, can you also still have compassion for the person sitting across from you? And can you understand that you don't agree, but you can yet also put yourself in their shoes and see why they believe the way they do? Can you see again the roles Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Biden, Kamala, all of them, they're all playing roles. And can you hold that? So let me just pause. Let me see. No, okay. I'm going to wait on that one. There's something I want to share, but I'm being told to do that at the end. Okay. I do want to quote from my teacher, Timothy Halloran, because it was such a poignant quote that captured this perfectly, and I wanted to share this with you. It's oftentimes when we experience this sense of lack that's initiating us into the work we are doing. This is a year of working to tune back into that greater goodness. That is this intention of the North Node in Pisces, with Saturn, with the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, all in this conjunction right now. It is when we are at our lowest, when we are meandering, when we don't have that spiritual sense and direction, when we feel lost. That is what is calling us into, again, there's that need to surrender to the divine, to our own souls, so we can find what is the work that I am here to do. Saturn is making us do that work of tuning back into the greater good, this connection of all that is. Again, Pisces, we are all one. What is true goodness? That's where the compass is directing us right now. That is our north point. We are each unique. We are each created by God, by Source. And now let's also give that back to the collective, to the greater good. North Node as in Aries was teaching us, yes, I am different. I have my own unique creative spark that God gave me, Source gave me. Now, how can I give that back? How can I be of service to the collective? This is this intention of the North Node in Pisces. Okay, so as I've mentioned, we have Uranus is going to be moving into Gemini in July 7th. So again, revolutionary, very exciting, fast-paced period of our entire lives is going to initiate. This is also, okay, we've got, when that happens, this is going to be the first hit of a trine between Pluto and Uranus. Now, that's going to begin September of 2025. This is going to continue into 2027 because they're very slow-moving planets. And then in 2027, the North Node is going to move into Aquarius, and then we'll eventually conjunct Pluto. So again, highly revolutionary time here. We are talking French Revolution energy. Heads rolling. We're talking, again, this deep standing up for truth and for freedom. So whatever's happening out in the world right now, can you feel that revolutionary energy is building? We are not going back into the Dark Ages. And yet, there is the old power structures, the old players who aren't ready and ever are going to let us change that game. They want to hold on to that power. They're not just going to give it to us for free and without a fight. You know, think back as well to our own United States revolution. The King of England just be like, oh, you don't like all the tariffs? We'll just let you go, no problem. No, it didn't work out that way. Instead, that was when the Declaration of Independence was created. We the people, for the people, by the people. This is a very Aquarian energy. And here for us as well in the United States, we are in the midst of our own Pluto return. So 240 years later, Pluto is back where it was when that Declaration of Independence was signed. This is why we are having a crisis of consciousness. Are we really who we are when we signed that declaration? And as I said, Pluto is this reactionary chamber of change. We're not living up to those standards, and I'm sure most of the countries of the world would agree. So there is this necessary breaking through that needs to happen. So again, not surprised by what we are seeing. It is needed. It is necessary. All right, so Pluto-Uranus trine. The last time these two planets were together was in the mid-1960s, which planted a seed around new philosophies, East meeting West, make love, not war, the whole hippie movement. Okay, that seed was planted at that time, but it was just a fad, right? It came and then it went because our consciousness as a collective humanity was not ready to receive those teachings. So now here we are, our first hit with this trine. This is when that seed is beginning to grow. It's starting to push up from that ground. And this again is what I mean, highly revolutionary period of time. We are having these traumatic experiences right now. Trauma is also very much linked to Uranus. It's when we can have that disassociation from our body. Again, theme that we see with Uranus. These are not accidents that we are experiencing this. They are necessary and they are needed to wake our consciousness up. Again, humans, we really don't like change, right? Even if the way things are is actually kind of shitty and we're not getting a whole lot of it. It's like, no, but over there in the future, that's super scary. I don't want to go there. I want to stay with what is known and familiar, even if it's shitty, right? Pluto and Uranus, they are not about to let that happen. So we are getting woken up. And the more you hold on to the old and the way things were, the rockier and the more challenging and difficult this will be. This is also part, again, of what the North Node moving through Pisces is teaching us. When to let go and go with the flow. Don't try swimming upstream. There is a need to flow with the energy right now. There is a need to surrender, to accept what is taking place. Again, it's not about agreement. When my kids, when they were small and having a really hard day and they're the toddler in the grocery mart screaming, flailing, trying to hit me, right? Like me getting mad and trying to make the situation be what it's not it's like, oh, look, there's a fire. Let's just throw fuel on it, right? It's just like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing right now. Okay, let's just move through it the best that we can. This energy as well, this letting go of the old, we see this very clearly with Hamia and Sedna, an aspect of Pluto right now. This completion of these last learnings of the distorted Capricorn patriarchy energy. We have a resonance as well with the galactic Mayan calendar. We are currently in a blue rhythmic storm year, and storms are about this deep purifying energy. Think of a storm, a really strong storm that comes through and it just pulls up trees, it rips things out, it causes so much destruction. It's this deep purifying, this deep cleansing, clearing of what is old. That fire, that lightning bolt striking, cutting through the old. We will be in that energy until July 26th of this year, and we're going to be moving into a yellow resonant seed. So here we are going to be planting the seeds. We've cleared out the way. We're clearing up that past. That storm is surging and bringing up all this stuff to the surface so we can let it go. And then we have that space to plant the seeds that are holding this resonance, this true resonance, this true frequency of the new earth that we are creating through all this chaos that's coming up. So once again, there's this beautiful energy of hope and that guiding light of it's not just scary and it's not just hard. Can you start to see into and feel the greater weavings, the greater divine plan that is taking place right now? We're definitely going to be seeing a lot of dissolution of dreams and seeing through delusions. Truth is a really big theme this year as well. You might find that you're having an activation of psychic sensitivities, like telepathy and working with energy frequencies. This is a time of being authentic, of being in your integrity, and holding compassion and true goodness. Now, what I find really interesting as well, I'm just going to briefly touch on the sun. We are in solar cycle 25. We are in solar maximum. So we're getting a lot of light codes, energy, radiation from the sun, and this is all helping to increase our consciousness. We are being changed by the sun and the light. Now, the sun has actually been quite quiet. In fact, it had a very low number of sunspots for January. We had an intense solstice, so end of December was very, very powerful and dynamic with the sun, and then it calmed down. And then guess what? This past week is all the, and I can only speak to United States, this is where I'm living. I don't really tune into a lot of news just because of my energy and sensitivity. I need to honor my boundaries. So that's why I'm also focused here. But please correlate this to wherever you are in the world and where you live. But here in the United States, I went, that's really interesting that all of a sudden we now have Donald Trump and as president, and he's signing all these executive orders and changing all these people's lives. There's so much fear and intensity happening, okay? And then at the same time, the sun wakes up again, and we're getting bombarded with these M-class flares. X-class is the highest, and then there's M, and then it goes down from there. But it's like all of a sudden, we're getting 8, 9 M-class flares in a day. This is coming through again to help clear out the bullshit, all the stuff that's in our energy field from patriarchy, these conditionings and the beliefs that are holding our true soul, our true authenticity down. It's like we're cutting through that and we're shedding those old stories, and the sun is helping us do that. So that was very, very interesting. So my recommendation for you right now is to ground yourself. Again, very fast, speedy energy, a lot of mental overwhelm. Pull back. Take care of yourself. Connect to the earth. Stay in your heart. Stay in heart center. This is a time of uncertainty, and at the same time, it's about faith. Faith in this greater plan that's happening. One of the reasons I have a tremendous amount of faith for our future is because of my children and all the children that I'm connecting to, these very multidimensional souls. They're coming in with codes from that future. I mean, they're going to really be game changers. And, you know, we just started to have the children with Pluto and Aquarius being born. Like, oh my gosh, I connect into their energy and I'm just like, yes, humanity, we do have a choice. Are we going to go down with the ship or are we going to make changes? But these kids, I just cannot believe that they are coming in just to have humanity see it wiped off the planet. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't actually have a time to do the amazing things I came here to do. I'm sorry, I just can't. Nope, I can't believe that. And that's a gift that they've given me. They're beautiful, beautiful souls. So I do have a lot of faith and excitement for what's coming. But surrender, again. Follow the flow. Allow the process to be what it is. Do not resist. So just briefly coming back to to Katie and her friend who reached out to me and was full of so much fear of coming back to the United States. And if you are feeling a lot of fear right now, what can you do with that? Now, first thing I would say is don't allow yourself to live in that fear. Live in the fear, okay? If you do that, your whole world is just going to be colored by fear, and that's actually not a fun place to be. So, what I would say, give yourself the space to feel it. Turn off the news, turn off social media, whatever it is that's that place of causing this anxiety as you learn all this new information. Stop, step away, connect to the earth, connect into your heart, and then ask yourself, why am I so afraid? Why is that so painful to me to contemplate? Give your fear, this part, that chance to express itself and for you to witness it. This is what we are learning with all these energies that are in Cancer right now. We are learning to be that mother who sits across from you, hands you a plate of cookies, and says, tell me what's bothering you. Do that for yourself, for your own inner child, for that fear that's coming up right now. And let it express itself. And then keep going. You know, don't just stop with this, well, I'm afraid. You know, and some of you absolutely, you know, are having very traumatic experiences. I'm more speaking to those of us who are witnessing what's taking place but are not directly involved, okay? I'll just give a quick example. And I do need to get this up. As I wrote an article about what I was going through when Sean was laid off, lost his job last May. And wow, that brought up some very deep core wounds for me. That rug getting ripped out from under me, and suddenly it's, oh my God, am I going to have enough money to feed the kids? Where are we going to live? Like, it was like, boom. And yet I kept going. I kept going deeper. And the deeper I got closer to the truth of what that fear of being homeless, I mean, it wasn't going to happen. And yet it, like, my whole being was like, oh, we're going to be on the streets. My children, oh my God, like it was this very deep instinctual reaction that I had. And it turned out to be the thing that I was actually truly afraid of was not having control. That was my real fear. So I encourage you to find what is your real fear and to witness it and to hold space for that. You will probably find if you go into the depths like that, that it lessens and you're better able to stay in that space of calm and center and to move through things. And it'd be much easier to then not live in the place of fear because you've acknowledged the fear and you've actually heard what the true fear is rather than just sweeping it under the rug, not really wanting to look at it, right? So that is what I would say to Katie's friend and to any of you who might be feeling fears in this period of time that we're in. Now, the last thing I want to do is, and I've asked the grandmothers and they've given me the okay. So this is from, this is Our Power, or Love. Our Love is Our Power by Sharon McErlane. And this is a wisdom coming from the Great Council of Grandmothers. And this popped into my mind to read this section when I was feeling fear and not being able to really be in that loving space, which is why I want to read this to you. Okay. Thoughts that go out from you are not material, the grandmothers explained. Thoughts don't require a set amount of space or a specific roadway. They simply go where they go. Whenever you think of a place where any living thing is suffering, and then think of us, our love instantly goes to that place. Whenever you think of fighting in the Middle East, in Africa, or anywhere, they said, and then think of us, love flies to that place. This is a form of prayer. This is what we mean when we speak about the effortlessness of this work. Now I'm going to bring in this next paragraph, which is what I really wanted to highlight for you. If you're having a hard time seeing particular players playing their role right now and you're like, I'm sorry, Chrissy, I cannot give that person my love, okay? This is for you. Now we have something for you, they said. Think of those you do not love, the difficult ones. These are your greatest teachers, the ones whose lessons you haven't yet figured out. Think of them. And as you do, ask us to love them, even though you may not be able to. As soon as you invite us in, we will embrace them. Try it and notice how it feels. That is, if you can bring yourself to turn them over to us. Whenever you turn these difficult ones over, they explained, you free yourself. So, if you want to learn more and connect with grandmothers and Sharon's work, you can go to netoflight.org. Very beautiful, effortless, heart-centered teachings that are very easy to do in a busy world, leading busy lives. So that is 2025 in as short of this video as I can do. I do apologize that it's not short, but again, there's so much to cover and there's so many dynamics that are involved. But I do hope that you feel more grounded, knowing what's coming, knowing why we are in this particular wave that we are in, and to give you each your own surfboards of how to navigate each of those moments as they come through. If you would like to connect with me and work with me, please go to my website, chrissywhistler.com. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please share this with anyone you know who might be feeling afraid and overwhelmed and fearful at this time. And that I hope that this video and these messages may help them and helps you. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. And we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.